Hello musicians, and welcome back to my video series on sensory integration for musicians. I hope you've been watching all these videos because they're showing you that what I'm introducing is really very simple. My name is Kay Hooper, and I'm the author and publisher of Sensory Tune-Ups. In this book, I have worked to make things as simple as possible so that teachers and students of all ages can begin to understand that all of our senses are important in music making. The movement sense is the basic way in which we tell that we're actually alive. And so being alive is a most important skill. Therefore, all the rest of the senses are there to help us stay alive. But they're also there to improve the quality of movement no matter what it is that we're doing. When our visual sense is tight or when our aural sense is tight, then our movement sense is also going to be tight and limited. Unfortunately, a lot of students are still taught that they don't have more than 5 senses, and that means that the movement sense isn't even on the radar screen for them. If you would like to get your students or yourself a little bit more lively, consider picking up some wonderful toys that will help you develop a vocabulary for movement. This toy is resilient. That means it moves and comes back, and moves and comes back, and does it very quickly. That's a good kind of quality for movement for musicians. This toy is very stretchy and also resilient. So we want to understand that our muscles also can lengthen and they can gather. They can go from one direction to another direction as easily as possible. This toy is springy. And again, spring gives us liveliness, it gives us rhythm, it gives us a sense of energy and joy in performance, as well as preventing us from becoming very stiff and stuck when we're playing. If your students aren't aware that they actually have a movement sense, your first step is going to be to tell them that they do. You can explore what happens with the movement sense very, very easily. Many people, because the eyes are so directly related to movement, find that they confuse their vision and their movement. So you might want to help your students just by asking them to put a hand behind the back and wiggle their fingers when they can't see their fingers. What does that feel like? You may find that they struggle. You may find that you struggle to develop a vocabulary for movement. Go ahead and struggle, but you'll find one. Have them change the direction of their hands, the speed of the movement of the fingers, all of those things when they can't see them, so they begin to become connected to the kinesthetic sense. That way they can stop themselves when they're practicing and they have the sense that they're tensing the muscles or muscling through a pattern because it's not really what you want to have happen for them. Let me show you in a little bit of performance what happens when I apply an idea that my playing is going to be more resilient versus an idea that my playing needs to be organized in a particular kind of position. Think about how you use words when you talk about movement to yourself and to your students. If you are talking a lot about position, don't be surprised if you and your students look rather stiff when they're playing. They're attempting to become something that seems like the right kind of position. In truth, our bodies are always moving. That's what keeps us alive. So if I were to play a little pattern of this piece as though I were in an ideal position and I were not resilient or springy or stretchy or bouncy or any of those wonderful words, I would probably look something like this. breath when that's going on, because that keeps me in a position. But if I let that go and I understand that my muscles and my bones, my body is designed to move so that I can move in relationship to my emotions, to the music, and to the instrument, I don't have to be in a position. I can instead be organized for movement. Which is quite a different experience for me, and then will certainly be a different experience for my audience. I've given you very, very short ideas, but I hope it's enough for you to want to explore more how you can work with your senses with your students. Please check my website at www.allsensepress.com.